I am excited to share this content with you. So if you are someone that struggles sometimes with feeling stuck, if you struggle with self-doubt, like you just can't move forward, you feel like you don't have enough of something, you are in the right place. We are going to go over some things today that my goal in creating this content, I kind of collaborated with a bunch of things. I add a little bit of my own twist on some stuff, but my goal in creating this content was to create something that you could truly use and apply in your life if you feel like those things are coming up for you, when those things occur. Because I don't know about you, but self-doubt, anybody experience self-doubt? So during the time of the webinar, I want to let you know that I want to leave it open to make comments, things like that, to post in the chat. So as we're going throughout, make sure that I'm just going to make sure we got this here. Yeah, that you can post in the chat as you have comments, because I'm going to say questions and feel free to answer back to them. I might add some to the questions, like I might add some answers to those questions, but I would love to be able to read yours as well so that you are engaged in this process, because that will help make the most of this this webinar for you. So yeah, someone put definitely self-doubt experiencing. Absolutely. Okay, so when it comes to self-doubt, what is going on, right? When we're experiencing self-doubt. So I want to ask you, there's usually 3 questions or thoughts that we are having when we're experiencing self-doubt. The first thing is we usually go to the what ifs. What if they don't like me? What if I'm not good enough? What if they laugh at me? So we have these what ifs that come up when it comes to self-doubt. And so then we kind of have those thoughts and we experience self-doubt or anxiety or fear, right? Those types of things that come with self-doubt. Another time that might be coming up, another question or a thought that comes into our minds is, I don't know. I don't know what to do next. I don't know the next move to make. I don't know the next step. I'm not sure. I don't know. And so we tell ourselves, I don't know. And so the result is we don't know. So that's another thought that kind of comes up when we're experiencing self-doubt. So we got the what ifs, the I don't knows, and we got the I can't or I'm not. Like, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. So we have those thoughts that kind of creep into our mind when we're experiencing a situation where we feel like we don't know what to do, right? We don't know what to do. What if this happens? I can't. I'm not good enough. So does anybody relate to those? Can you relate to those kind of thoughts? Is there a thought that you might be having when you experience it, self-doubt, that you like to be able to post? And I could read that, because what do you experience when you feel like you're doubting yourself, when you're starting to do something? Do you have the what ifs? Like, what if somebody doesn't like it? What if I make a fool out of myself? Do you have the I don't knows? I don't know what to do next. I'm just going to sit here because I don't know what to do after this. What kind of questions kind of come up for you? So that's the thing, like kind of exploring that for yourself, what's coming up for you when that happens. So here's the good news. I guess it's kind of good news. When you're experiencing self-doubt, oh, what if people aren't taking me serious? Okay, that's also, yeah, exactly, yes. So what if, yep. So those what if questions, right? What if people don't take me serious? What if they don't think that I know that I don't got the goods, right? What if they believe that I can't help them? Whatever that is, right? Absolutely. So that's another kind of self-doubt that we have. So those what ifs, the I don't knows, the I can't, and I'm not. So those are usually kind of that inner circle of we have these thoughts and then we experience self-doubt. So if that's the case, there's 2 things that we know for sure that's going on. If you're experiencing self-doubt, first off, you have a human brain and it's doing its job. It's the first thing to know, that you have the human brain and it's doing its job. So first off, if you're experiencing self-doubt, this is okay. This is an okay thing. And we're going to dive deeper into that. Secondly, is that if you're experiencing self-doubt, it means you have a desire to want to do something more. You desire to do more in your life. There's something that's aching or that you want to do better at, you want to improve on, you have a desire to do something more. So that's also a good thing. So those 2 things we can know for sure if we're experiencing self-doubt. I like somebody put that the imposter syndrome. That's a good one, right? We experience in self-doubt thinking that, people aren't going to take me serious, or, they think that I don't know things, that kind of stuff. So absolutely, that imposter syndrome. Good one to point out there. So that's kind of what's going on. So we have the human brain. Let's dive into that. What is this human brain that we have, and why would we experience self-doubt, and why would that be a good thing? Like, why is that good? Well, when it comes to the brain, there's lots of stuff going on up there, but the limbic system is kind of that primal brain that we have. So that lovely part of the limbic system that we have, and its job is actually to keep us safe. Its job is primarily to protect us. And you know what it does to protect us? It finds problems. It's a really good problem finder. It will find problems everywhere. So if you've ever been around someone that finds problems really well, they have a really good limbic system. Like, it's really working, it's doing its job. Like, when we do that. So that is part of the human brain. And when it comes to finding problems, what's interesting is that, right, we see something first, or we have a thought about it. We believe it's a problem, like having the thoughts of the what ifs, I don't know, I'm not good enough. We're having these thoughts, we're believing these thoughts. And then our body starts to kind of shift a little bit when we experience self-doubt. We maybe start to sweat. We get nervous. We get pit in our stomach. We get choked up in the throat. We actually experience a physical change in our body when we believe the thoughts, I don't know, I'm not good enough, I can't do this. So I've always thought that is so fascinating because right with the limbic system, we have our nervous system as well, which is tied in really well together. So we have this sympathetic nervous system that does the fight or flight. We've probably heard of that before. And what's going on there is that we're believing this thought, I can't, I'm not good enough, I don't know, what if people don't like me? What if people think that I'm not given the goods, or I'm not, communicating correctly, whatever that is. We experience these change in our body, right? The heart beating. We start to lose our breath. We get shortened in breath. If we're going out on a stage or something, we think, I can't do this. This isn't going to work because my body's just freaking out here. And this is normal because you're having the thought that you believe that you can't, or I'm not good enough, or what if they don't like me? So we're believing these thoughts, so our body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It found the problem. You're having this thought, it's a problem for you. So it's doing its job. It's like, we got to shut this down. This is a problem. We don't want your body to go out of whack. So we're going to shut this down. So it's going to offer you three things, a combination of three things. The limbic system does this very well. First of all, it's going to want you to try to avoid the pain. It's going to do anything it can with the least amount of resistance. That's one of them, the least amount of resistance to avoid the pain. So if you were going to go in front of people to talk, it's going to say, don't do that. It's going to offer let's not do that. That's going to avoid the pain. And when you sit down and you take a breath, you're like, okay, I really don't have to do this. It's fine now. And that's kind of what happens because our brain is trying to protect us. It's just doing its job. It was designed to do that. It's doing the work it's supposed to do. So it's actually working perfectly fine. And so we want to avoid the pain, and we try to do it the least way possible with the least resistance. And then the second thing is we're going to go try to seek pleasure, again, with the least amount of resistance, that third thing. So avoid pain, seek pleasure, the least amount of resistance. That is called the motivational triad. And with the motivational triad, that's kind of like it's designed to protect you. And if you think about it, it's interesting, there's so many things that we want to do that are, I want to do this because it's easier. I want to do this because this is, I don't want to have to struggle so hard. This is the easier way. Let's do this way. Our brain is designed to look for that. It wants that. It finds comfort in that because it believes it's helping you if you get there. Like if I get them to feel pleasurable, they can sit on that, sit down on the couch, watch Netflix, do that, then they are relaxed and good and calm, and I'm doing my job. So your brain just wants to do its job. It's very diligent, and it's just like, this is what I was designed to do, so I'm going to do it. And that's what our brain loves to do. So that is kind of how it works with the lovely limbic system. Now, when it comes to that, the fascinating thing so I was kind of going through the self-doubt, right? The thoughts that we had, the brain's doing its job if we're experiencing self-doubt. So the interesting thing that I find that for me has been helpful when it comes to this process that our brain does is I like to look at my limbic system as if it's a toddler. So does anybody have kids, toddlers? Have you experienced a toddler throwing a fit? Have you gotten to experience that before? So how many out there have toddlers or they've experienced a toddler throwing a fit? Come on, there's got to be hands up there. Yep, absolutely, of course. Okay, we all know what toddlers do. They're throwing a fit. So here's my question. Yep, awesome. When a toddler throws a fit, what are they trying to get from you? What do they want from you when they throw a fit? He knows the answer. I know you guys do. What does a toddler want to get when it's throwing a fit? Control. That's yes. They want, yep, control, validation. I like this. Yeah. Control, validation. What else are they trying to get from you? They're like, hey, I'm throwing a fit. Come pay attention to me. I want you to be their way. Attention. Yeah, absolutely. So they want attention. That's why they're throwing the fit. They're saying, hey, look at me. I'm experiencing something I don't understand, because usually that's what's kind of going on with kids, right? As they're growing, as they're toddlers, their body's changing, things are happening. They're not sure, they're feeling emotions. They're just like, what's going on here? So they throw a fit. Kids throw fits, right? So our brain, our beautiful limbic system, how I like to look at it is I look at my brain and I go, my brain is throwing a fit because it wants my attention. That's all it's trying to do, just getting your attention. So when a child throws a fit and it's trying to get your attention, there's usually 3 ways that we kind of respond to it. Well, I'm gonna say for me personally, when my kids, these are 3 ways that I would usually respond when they threw a fit. One way is I would try to change it. They were throwing a fit. I would be like, just be happy, it's okay. Or try to tickle them, make them laugh, like, or they're sad, or we say, be happy, don't be sad, right? So we would do those we try to change it. We're like, no, don't feel this way, it's okay. So we're trying to tell them it's okay, you don't need to feel like this. And that's what, I know I did that as a parent. The second thing that we kind of might do, and I've done this as a parent too, is I reacted to it not very nicely. Why are you throwing a fit? What's wrong? What are you doing? What do you want? This is so embarrassing. You're embarrassing me here. So we react back to it. We get mad. We get mad at the child, right? We're like, what are you doing? Why are you throwing this fit? So we try to change it. We react to it. And sometimes we try to distract them, right? So they're wanting something, whatever that is. So we distract them and we want them to stop throwing the fit. We're like, here, have this piece of food, have this candy, watch this TV show, read this book, play with this toy, have this binky, have this toy that you love, right? So we want to change whatever's going on with them. We don't want them to have to experience it, because we feel like this is stress for me. So I don't want you to experience this either. I want to change this. So those are 3 ways that I would say for me, and I would say in general, you guys kind of agree, that's 3 ways that we kind of respond when it comes to a toddler throwing a fit. We either react, not so good, we want to change it, or we're going to try to give them something out, distract them and get them to do something else so they don't think about it. So I want to offer a 4th thing that I wish I could say as a parent I did more often, but I didn't. And that was, they're wanting my attention. What if I just allow it and let them experience whatever emotion they're having? Just sit by them. Maybe ask them questions. Be like, oh, yeah, you're sad right now. Yeah, okay. Just let them explain or say, or even just sit and just let them be. Let them have their fit. Maybe they'll throw it longer, whatever. But that could be something that we do when our kids are experiencing these emotions that they experience in their body, because they're not quite sure how it all connects. And so they're throwing a fit, or they want something, or, right? They want validation. We had great answers here, all this kind of stuff. And so I love it. Meets to get what they want, testing boundaries, good things. So it's interesting. I think about that with our limbic system. right? The signal's going off. It's saying, hey, something's wrong because I'm the problem looker, right? I'm looking out for your problems. You're having this thought that people are going to make fun of you, or you're not going to be taken seriously, or you're having this thought. So let's not do that. Let's avoid the pain. Let's go seek pleasure, and let's do it the easiest way possible. Let's do that. And so that's kind of what our brain's doing. It's trying to tell us. So it's just trying to get our attention. So how I like to look at it is I go, what if I just made room for it and just said, oh, thank you for that information. Thank you for letting me know that. It could be possible that we do that instead of react to it. Because I've reacted to my brain when it tells me self-doubt. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm thinking this again. That's so stupid of me. Why do I do this all the time? Anybody can relate to that, right? React back to your own brain like, oh, I wish I could just get over this. Like, can't I just get over this? When maybe all it wants is like, oh, I'm feeling this, right? Oh, okay. That's what's going on. My brain is doing its job. It's just trying to protect me. So that could be the way that we respond to it instead of reacting, or instead of kind of distracting ourselves, like going to do something else instead of what we were going to do because we have self-doubt, right? So we go to the kitchen, we go and call a friend, we go take a nap, we go for a walk, we avoid it, right? We distract ourselves with something else, or we change it. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to be really good at this. I would just be like, I just got to think happier thoughts. I just got to think positive things. I wasn't even acknowledging the fact it was happening. I was just like, nope, it shouldn't be happening. So now I should think happy thoughts. I just got to be positive all the time, be happy all the time. And then that's exhausting too. So all our brain is really trying to do when we're experiencing self-doubt, it just wants you to, hey, give me your attention, acknowledge it, and then we can decide what we want to do next. All right, my friends. So let's dive in to the worksheets. So as I kind of explained a little bit about the brain, kind of how it's working. So as we dive into these worksheets, I wanted to kind of give that preference of the brain, right? So like I said, when we're experiencing self-doubt, our brain's doing its job. So now we can understand why the brain's doing its job, because we're having this thought, what if people don't like me? What if I say the wrong things? We're having this thought and we're believing it. So our body's like creating a response to it. We're starting to sweat, our heart's starting to pump. We're doing those things. So maybe we can just acknowledge it. Oh, okay. And I'm going to talk about more what to do after that, but just acknowledging it, just making room and acknowledging that I'm having this thought, right? I'm having this thought, so I'm experiencing this emotion in my body. And we're going to dive a little deeper into that. But first of all, we want to go into the worksheet. So the have, do, be. So when we think about have, do, be, it's the process and we're thinking, when I have this, then I will be able to do this, and then I will be happy. And why I'm using this process, especially at the beginning to see what's going on, what it is you desire, what it is you want, is because it's talking to the primitive brain, right? The brain, the primitive one, our limbic system wants to find the problems. So let's talk to it and find out what it needs. What is the problem? What does our brain believe is the problem? So we're using have, do, be as a way to like open up, to talk to our brain, say, okay, this is what I believe I need to have. Then I can do this, and then I will be this. So as we go through this worksheet, let's go ahead and start in the beginning here. Obviously the have, do, be. So that's the first part we're going to. And the first question, what do you need to move forward? What is your brain telling you, that primitive brain telling you that you need to move forward? Now I'm going to give some examples, but I first of all want you can feel free to put in the suggestions, the chat as well, like what you believe. What do you believe you need now in order to move forward? What do you think that is? Some examples I'm going to share is, I need more time. I need more money. I need more resources. I need more information. I need more clients. I need more relationships. What is it you believe you need more of that you don't have right now? And so go ahead and fill that out on the have, do, be. Does anybody want to share what they put down? What is your brain telling you that you need more of, that you're lacking? Self-confidence. What else? What else is your brain lacking? Is it saying like, I need more of this because I don't have it? Communication, more experience. Awesome. Great one. Absolutely. Yes. Good stuff, guys. Okay. So what is it you need more of? Okay. Now we want to go to the second question. So what will this allow you to do? What is your brain telling you that if I have this thing, once I have this, I will be able to do these things. I'll be able to do this stuff in my life. What is your brain telling you? So here's some examples again that I put down that of what your brain might be, telling you that you'll get to have. You'll be able to delegate more efficiently. You'll have more space. Maybe you'll be able to schedule things better. Maybe you'd be able to talk to people more efficiently, be able to use my skills, help more clients, have better relationships, whatever that is, right? This would I'll be able to do this, allowing behaviors without it affecting my health and well-being. All right. Absolutely. So yes. So resistance. Awesome. Okay. More experience. I love it, you guys. So the next one, what will you be able to do because you have this? Go ahead and fill that out. There's probably going to be quite a few things you'll feel like you'll be able to do now that you have this thing. All right, now the third question we're going to move on to is, how will you feel when you get this? What do you believe you're going to feel in your body, right? How are you going to feel? What are you going to believe about yourself when you get this? Some of the things I put up: live up to my own potential. Nice. Feel more secure, more valuable, maybe more successful, more confident, more excited in my life, more respected, more trusted, right? Accomplished, excited, feel lighter. Ooh, I like that one. Yeah, feel lighter, confident. I'm not an imposter. Absolutely. Good stuff. So this is what we want. This is the feeling we want to have. Free myself from the chains of control, relaxed, empowered, and more creative. Love it. Absolutely. So you're like, I want to feel this. I want to feel this in my body. All right. Now we're to the fourth step. Now the fourth step, I'm going to read an example so you can kind of have an idea of how to complete it. But this is, why is this important to you? And you're going to write an I believe statement, like, why is this important? And you're going to start from the top on the way down. So in other words, if you put, I'm going to use time as an example. So I believe when I have more time, I will be able to delegate more efficiently, and that will help me be successful. So you kind of, so when I have more time, when I have more money, I'll be able to buy the things I need to succeed whatever, or to have the vacation I want with my family. Like if I have more money, can do that. And then I will feel like I'm a great parent, I'm a successful parent, I'm connecting with my family, whatever that is. So putting it in that order is really important in this part. All right, guys. Okay, so we're filling it out, putting it in that order. Okay, this one takes a little bit longer, but you kind of have the words up there to begin with. So this is where I'm going to introduce another idea, another concept from the first one that we worked on. So I was talking about the brain and how it works. And right, our brain is designed to find the problem. So the have do be is our brain doing its job as far as the default. So that's our default part of the brain, right? It protects us, keeps us safe. We got to have that default. Otherwise, we might not survive very long. Okay, so the default is there for a good reason. I always say it's the motherboard. It's, the program you get when you get everything. And then you get a program using the higher brain, right? So we get to use the prefrontal cortex. Right? When we use the prefrontal cortex, The nervous system that engages with is the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's not the fight or flight, it's the rest and digest. It's when we get into that creative mode, when we get into that kind of thinking. And so when we're looking at this statement that we wrote down here, that you wrote down as number 4, is a statement where you believe that you're lacking something, so you need to kind of fight to get it. That makes sense that our brain that's primal thinks that, like that it's going to point that out to you. That totally makes sense that it would do that. But if you're wanting to engage and look into our higher point of thinking and kind of use that to actually create what we want instead of react to what we don't have or have, then we've got to choose some different verbiage. We've got to kind of see it in a different way. And so I wanted to give an example. So I had mentioned at the beginning that we have those thoughts like the what if thoughts when it comes to feeling self-doubt, the what ifs, the I don't knows. We're having those thoughts. And so the thoughts we have, and then we're sweating, our heart is beating, we're feeling faint, we're expressing, we're feeling this stuff. So I want to compare having a thought of, I've got this, I'm going to do this, and also comparing it to how our body reacts to it. So one thing interesting is that I was thinking about this morning as I went to go do yoga this morning. So I love doing yoga, do Bikram yoga. And what's fascinating is there's sometimes I don't really want to go, but I go anyways. And when I'm done going, I always have the same thought. I'm so glad I went. Now during yoga, I'm sweating, my heart is beating, I'm feeling like I'm going to die, like all this stuff, right? But at the end result of it, even though my body's feeling all these sensations, my whole time, my brain's like, I need to be here. I love this. This is so challenging because when I'm done, I'm like, this was so good. I'm so glad I was here. So my body felt all this stuff, but it didn't have warning signals. It wasn't trying to tell me. I mean, sometimes it'll say, don't stretch so much, things like that. But in the most part, it wasn't telling me. And that's actually more of my reasoning brain, because then it kind of kicks into gear because I'm purposely being there. I'm purposely choosing that. I've decided that that's where I'm going to be. So one of the books that I really love is Man's Search for Meaning by Frankl. Oh my goodness, my brain just went blank. But anyways, I'll remember it. But he has a quote that he says in there. He says, "There between stimulus and response, there is a space. And that space is where all your power lies." So we have something that's coming, like I'm going to go do yoga, or I'm going to go talk to people in front of people. So my heart is beating because I'm thinking, I can't do this. I don't know why I'm doing this. So I'm feeling this certain way during the whole presentation, as opposed to when I go to yoga, I'm like, I've got this. I'm going to do this. I know when I'm done, I'm going to feel so good. So my thought literally changes my outcome feeling of how I feel about it. My power is in my thinking, and it always has been. It's not like it's a new self-discovery of any kind, but it's fascinating because I find that we start to attach so easily to our circumstance, and we think that that means that that's why we feel the way we feel, as opposed to there's that space between stimulus and response. And that space is our power. And in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he was in a Nazi Germany camp, and he talked about how he started to see these men that were killing people, that were, all that. He started to say how he felt sorry for them because they had less freedom than he did. Now, isn't that fascinating? And he's like saying, it's because I can choose all the ways that but they have to be here. But I get to choose how I feel every day here and how I do things. So it's very fascinating the way that he shows it in the book. So I just very much recommend it. It's a great book. It's a much older read, but good stuff. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to our brain. So this is why I wanted to add this point going into this last question here. So I put in that I believe. So I believe when I have more time, I will be able to delegate efficiently, and that will help me be more successful. So in that statement, I'm believing I don't already have, so it's lacking. So I'm graspy. I'm hoping it's going to come. I'm not sure. So with be do have, the next worksheet, we need to flip that. And so I've given an example of how I flipped that statement, that I can decide if I want to believe that or not, if it's going to be useful for me. And the decision is this: I am a successful person. So I started with how I felt, what I believed. I'm a successful person. I delegate efficiently, and that creates time for me. Do you see the difference in kind of the way that it kind of shows up and how that kind of happens? Like, so we go from, I got to wait till I get this and then I'll get this. We believe that we're waiting for something to happen, as opposed to that we actually can become creators and create what we want. And that's when we flip it to be, do, have. Be means I believe that I am being me. Like if you can find evidence to believe that this is possible right now without changing a thing, what do you have to start to decide to believe in order to get that? How will that show up in your life? And so, so here we go. I believe I allow these negative behaviors and chaos from others. That is awesome. Yes. Awesome. Yes. No, so there was some good chat that they were putting in here, and I appreciate that. So I just wanted to make sure to read that. Yes. So here we go. So now we've got to flip the switch. We got to go to be, do, have. Be is I believe that I'm being who I am. So I don't have to work too hard because I already believe. I've decided to believe. I've decided every day that that's who I am. It does take time. It doesn't just happen overnight. But just to see it, the perspective, and realize that when I'm feeling self-doubt, I'm feeling this emotion in my body, and this is how I show up. But when I'm going to yoga purposely, I'm still expressing all this stuff, but I'm not ever believing that something's gone wrong. My brain's not telling me something's gone wrong because I decided, and I decided it. I decided I was going. I didn't feel like I was having to do it. Even some things that we decide to do, we have nervousness about it. And I always say, then we just need to make room and acknowledge it. Yeah, I'm nervous right now. It's okay. Lots of people are nervous because they have a human brain. They have the same thing I have up here. So because of that, I can embrace that and see that as a strength and not a weakness, and see it for great gratitude and gratefulness that I have it, as opposed to that it's a problem. Like we can switch that if we want to. And it does take practice to do. I mean, as a coach, I've been coaching people, and it's a process to go through. But just giving you the kind of the tool steps of seeing it and how you can switch it can be very useful as far as moving forward with the way that you want to see things in your life. So here we go. We're going to go to the be, do, have. I am living in God's purpose for me, so I pour into others' lives and build successful relationships that grow my business. I love it. Awesome. Good stuff. Okay. That's awesome. Wonderful. Good things, you guys, that you're chatting here. I love it. Okay. So we're going into be, do, have. Like I said, I gave that example of that switch. So now we want to find evidence for it because our brain loves to find evidence. It wants to find evidence. We want to find evidence. We don't like, I don't know what's going to happen later. We always are looking for answers. Do you realize that? And that's really, like I said, that's our primitive brain doing its job. And until we kind of take over the seat, until we decide that, no, I'm acknowledging that you're there. I'm not trying to stop you. I'm not going to make you stop doing what you're doing, but I'm acknowledging it, but I'm deciding what I'm doing going forward. There's a difference in that. There's a different strength in that. There's a different self-love in that as well. And so we flip the switch to the other side. So first of all, we got to find out, how can you find evidence of it? So number 5 on be, do, have. What evidence can you find now to support this belief? If it was that you want to be successful, you believe you'll be successful if you do these things, or you believe you'll have great relationships, or you believe you'll be able to impact people's lives because you believe. So what is it that you believe now that you can see evidence that you're already doing that now? Can you find evidence of that? It's fast because our brain wants to find evidence of that. So can we? I'm sure we can. So it's like, for me, I was looking at friendships, current clients I'm working with, classes I take, books I read, getting coached, preparing, practicing, being open to possibilities. So all these things that I am investing into myself to become a successful person, if that's what I want to be, or to become the person I believe that I can be. And so it's like, so I got to find evidence of that. Where's that showing up in my life? How can I see that? What does that look like? All right. Okay. So find that, find some evidence. So can people think of evidence that you can find, like whatever the emotion was? It might have been multiple emotions that you were having. Like, where can you find evidence of that? Where does that already exist in your life? Now, one thing that I teach as a coach is that once, like, we want to find evidence of it, that's great. But when we really tap in and we understand that we actually can create what we want, we don't have to find evidence in it. We just have to find out how we need to believe enough in the future that that's who we're becoming. And we bring that to us here. And there's a process in which I help clients be able to do that, to take that, this is where I'm going. And then we find ways to believe that now currently. So we're shooting towards that. Like this is, we are the target. We're shooting towards that. Like that's where I'm going. And everything is coming at me that needs to be at me, that will get me there. That's going to get me there, as opposed to that I have to keep on working, exhausted. It's really hard. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. You know, my relationships are failing. These thoughts that we're having, we're feeding it, right? We're feeding that. But we can find evidence of where it is now if we can. But we can also find evidence of we're deciding that that's who we're becoming. So finding evidence to get to that and what that looks like for you in your life. So, right, how can we find evidence to support this belief now? And then when you believe this, so when you believe this evidence, when you're looking at your paper and you're seeing the evidence, you're like, wait, there's evidence that I already have this. Are people finding evidence? Are you finding evidence right now as you're writing these things down? And you're like, no, there's evidence of that in my life. Like, why do I think I don't have that already? Like, I do have that. And then we can switch that and we can go, okay, I do have that. So when you believe this, what would you do? So again, because you believe this is who you are being, it's who you are, that I am, you know, I'm a loving person. I am connecting in relationships. I am doing these things, whatever that is. I believe that with all my heart and soul. So what do? How do you show up when you do that? Like one of the things I said, because I had flipped it, right? So I delegate more, things like schedule time. I was talking about being successful that way. So I say no more often instead of saying yes all the time. That's one thing I would do. And it's not, there's nothing lacking there. It's that that's who I am. So now that's what I do because I believe that's who I am. Once the belief is in place, just like you believe that you are going to, people are going to think you're not saying things right or you're not doing things right when you go out there and you talk to people, you're thinking that and you're feeling nervous and your body's perspirating and your heart's pounding, you're believing that. So that shows us that the power of belief in our brain, we can switch it if we want to. It is possible. It truly is. And it's deciding how that looks in our life, because you're the one that has the key to that code for yourself. We're all individuals. We have a certain key and code to be able to find that for ourselves. And when we start using our limbic system for showing us, and then we decide what it is we do want, we're using it instead of fighting it all the time. We're not thinking it's a problem anymore. It's like, no, it's just doing its job. Absolutely. That's what it does. And then we've decided this is how we're living. See the difference in that? And so when you believe that this is what you do, you say no, you're clear about your time, you're respectful of your time and others, you decide ahead of time, you plan things. So when it comes to time, like, this is what I do because I believe I'm successful. So this is the example I'm just using, right? So I believe that I am successful. So that's how I live. Maybe look at other people that are successful. Are they efficient with their time? Are they doing it? What is it that you believe that makes them successful? Like, how do you see that? It's like, well, then that's how they live. And if that's what I believe I am, then that's how I live. Like, that's what I've decided. So it's coming from a very different energy level. And then, the fascinating thing. So the last question on this is, when you do these things, what will you have? And so my answer for me on, I believe I'm successful, so I delegate more time. So I delegate my days, so I have more time. The truth is, I have more time. And that's not with me changing what's happening in my life right now. That's not with me changing the demands, the circumstances, the things that I have in my life. That's me deciding this is who I am, and now I live that life. And that's truly the power that we have between our ears. It's an amazing gift that we have. It truly is. All right, my friends, what did you think of the content? I know I kind of cut it off at the end, but that was pretty much the end of it. And we just kind of had a little bit of dialogue back and forth. So I wanted to make sure to give you the full spectrum of what it was, the beginning to the end of the content of the worksheet, the information that I shared. Did you enjoy it? Did you find yourself thinking differently than you did before? Were you trying to open up to more possibilities and looking at things differently than you did? If that is the case, if you found yourself kind of resonating to the information I shared, you are going to want to book your discovery call. It is a free one-to-one call with me and you. On the discovery call, I'm going to listen to you. I'm not going to do much of the talking. I want to hear what's going on with you, with the struggles that you're having, with the things that you're wanting to do, like the goals that you have for yourself that you're just not reaching, maybe the relationships and the connections that just don't seem to be happening for you. If that is the case, I would love to talk to you. I'd love to hear about your story and what's going on and share with you how I might be able to help. So reach out to me, book your free discovery call today, and I look forward to getting to know you more. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.